In today's video, I'm going to share with you how we are wrapping up our homeschool year, what curriculum we are still using, and how we're easing our way into the summer. The first thing we do every morning, obviously, is have breakfast. So while the kids are having breakfast, we'll do a little morning basket. This is something we just picked up on again. There's no core subjects or anything big in there. It's just something to have them learning while they're eating and get their brains started for the rest of the school day. So I'm going to show you what we have in our morning basket. So in our morning basket, right now we have Mad Libs. My son loves these. They help with grammar, because he has to pick an adjective, an adverb, a noun, and I try not to remind him what they are so that he can remember the definitions and apply them in this fun way. We also have this Unstoppable Me book, which is 10 ways to soar through life. For example, you are great no matter what, persistence pays off, welcome the unknown, you have a choice, farewell to worry, peace begins with you, enjoy the here and now, healthy me, creativity is the key, and what can you give? So they have stuff to tell them good things about themselves, and then over here is like a little story based on the pictures. Another thing we like to do in our morning basket, I like to read them Everyday Graces, which is a child's book of manners, and it has excerpts from different stories like Frog and Toad, or Peter Pan, or Pinocchio, or Anne and Jane Taylor. Like, there's all kinds, and then some original stories. So there's all kinds of stories in here, and then there's a moral at the end. So for example, there's a poem here. It says love between brothers and sisters, and then the moral says, even when you argue with your siblings, try to work things out and forgive one another. It takes strength and courage to control your temper and forgive, but the more you practice these things, the easier they become. So this talks about good manners at home, using words wisely, table manners, and then it breaks them up into different categories. It also talks about appreciating people with disabilities, caring for the elderly and sick, out and about, getting along with others, good manners in school, good sportsmanship, writing letters and invitations, church, weddings and funerals, how to behave, kindness towards animals, and respecting our country. We'll read a little something from this based on things that I want them to work on, or in preparation for something. For example, if we're going to go attend a wedding, then I would read them one of the wedding, portions of the book. And I also have this big book of how, little kids' first big book of how, and we'll randomly pick something. How do microwave ovens cookbooks? How do microwave ovens cook food? And we'll read about it, and then we'll read a couple of those because they're interesting facts, and then your kids have all these random little pieces of knowledge that they can bring up in conversations later on. So I do have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old that I'm homeschooling right now, and I also have a 12-year-old who does her own virtual school online. She goes to a charter school, but right now she's doing virtual school online. So she does her own thing, and she comes down and joins us depending on what we're doing. When she's done her stuff, she'll come and join us for our morning starter, for lunchtime. If we're doing an activity, sometimes she'll come and sit with us during our science lesson. So and most of the time she finishes her work, she'll play the recorder. That's another thing we've picked up. We'll talk about that in a little bit, and just keeping busy. First, I want to explain to you guys what our morning starters is, because that is something that we just started this past month. So we've been doing it for a couple of weeks now, and it has really helped my son to stop dreading homeschool, so that when the Monday morning comes and I say it's time for school, it's not so horrific as it used to be. So we started something called Morning Starters, and the first thing we do in the morning is we play a game of chess, or we'll play this Middle Ages game called The Builders. I'll link it in the description below, along with our chess set, because I really like it a lot. It's really cute. Another thing we like to do is our USA puzzle map, followed by a game of Unscramble USA. Sometimes we'll do our Mom and Me journal, which is really cute, and I'll show this to you guys. So this one specifically is a mother and son keepsake journal. They also have journals like this you can do with your daughters, and we have a picture of us inside, and we fill out answers to questions. And like it says in the beginning, it's a keepsake journal. So he'll write in something to me and I'll write something into him, and then we color and draw. And so we really like to do this together. So this is another one of our morning starters. The kids also sometimes like to start the morning doing origami, so I'll take out their origami books and paper and let them just go at it while I prepare things for the day. So for the past few years that I've been homeschooling my son, he was using Singapore math. We switched over, or I should say upgraded, to Dimensions math, which is part of Singapore. And the way we finished math for the year was to just completely finish the 2 books that were involved with that curriculum. But this year we switched to Beast Academy in the middle of it. So we're not doing the books, we're doing the online version of it, and we won't be finished with this at the beginning by his 4th grade year, which is okay because the levels 3A, it's 3A, B, and C, and we're only on 3A right now. And 3A covers shapes, skip counting, perimeter and area, multiplication, perfect squares, the distributive property, variables, division, measurement, fractions, estimation, and area. And it is for 3rd grade. However, it's for ages 9 and 10, and my son is 8, about to be 9. So this is more advanced than a regular math curriculum. So him doing this into his 4th grade year, I'm okay with. We're probably going to go ahead and do it throughout the summer just so he could start level 4 sooner. We are continuing to use musical multiplication, which actually I don't think we started with this. We actually got this in the middle of the year, so he's been doing his musical multiplication. I have reviews on every single one of the curriculums that I'm showing you today, so make sure you check out the playlist at the end of this video. We started the year off with the Good and the Beautiful Language Arts level 3, and we are continuing with this. We are working through this. We are on lesson 98. What we do is I set a timer for 35 minutes and we get done as much as we can. Sometimes that's 1 lesson, sometimes it's 2 or 3 depending on how small they are, so that we can get through this book. So we'll definitely be done this. My plan is to finish school by the end of May, when my daughter's finishing her school, so the kids can be done at the same time and we can move into our summer activities together. So he will be done this before May is over. The last 2 books my son is gonna read is I Survived the Titanic by the I Survived series, and we have another little book that goes with that of if you were a kid on the Titanic. Those are coming through the Amazon mail. And then he's gonna read Mr. Lemoncello's Adventures, or that book, I forgot what it's called, but we did get that one too. So those are the next 2 books that he's going to read. We're no longer concerned with him completing the handwriting book or the typing book, but we are going to continue with those. So we're alternating days between handwriting and typing. We're not doing any history for the rest of the year. We're going to start that next school year in August, but we are working our way through mammals. We're doing lessons Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. On Tuesdays, he's continuing his science class from his homeschool co-op. So on Mondays, we're studying and reading the chapter for Tuesday's class. And then on Fridays, we're watching a documentary to go along with the mammals unit, and we'll do the lesson right after the documentary, if the documentary is about the next lesson. So we watched a documentary on elephants, and then we did the elephant lesson. We did primates, and then we did the primate section. And we did, then one day we did a documentary on penguins, which is not even a mammal. But we did that on Friday instead of do this, because Fridays are our fun Fridays, and I'll go through that schedule with you in a second. And then we just got these plastic recorders that everyone is getting, and we're all, except for my 4-year-old, we're all gonna learn to play the recorder. I thought that'd be a good first instrument. My 12-year-old, like I said, she's doing online classes with her charter school, but part of her, she talks a lot more to her homeschooled friends, and we were just invited to take a literature, vocabulary, and reading strategies high school course online. So she is going to start doing that on Thursdays and reading books and discussing it with her friends and her teacher online on Thursdays. I spoke to her public school teachers, and they said it was okay for her to miss if they had any classes Thursday. So far she hasn't had any anyway, and so she's doing that, which is a blessing, because I've been trying to find a way to motivate her to read, and she just doesn't like to read. And this is a way to motivate her. She's taking class with her friends, and she's going to learn to discuss it and learn root words for vocabulary and things like that. So that's another thing to keep her busy, because she's usually done her public school work by 12:30, and the rest of us are still going till 3. For my preschooler, we are doing The Good and the Beautiful Math K. We started doing this because it came in the mail. I ordered all of her kindergarten curriculum. She's only 4. She doesn't turn 5 until November. But she really likes it, and it's easy for her right now because they're learning things that we already learned, recognizing numbers 1 through 10, counting ordinal numbers and patterns and shapes. I've already done all that stuff with her, so we're skimming through all of that stuff right now and going through this slowly. If you want to see a review or a lesson with this, everything is in the description below that I'm talking to you about. I'm not even going to say it anymore. Just look down there. For her, we're also getting a head start on reading. I'd like her to learn to read before she hits kindergarten, because The Good and the Beautiful Kindergarten, we went from the preschool. We went from the preschool book, which teaches letter sounds. Then it jumps to kindergarten, and the kindergarten book is a huge jump. So they did make one in between, but I really don't want to buy another curriculum because I just bought the kindergarten one. So I figured when she's done reading this book and she's learned how to read from here, she'll be on a 2nd grade reading level. Should be no problem for her to jump into The Good and the Beautiful level K. So that's the plan. So I want to work through this slowly now throughout the summer, and hopefully be finished by August. We probably should start doing this every day. Other than that, she takes part in the science class that I teach for the homeschool co-op. I do a lesson a week. I make a video for my kids at the co-op, and then on Tuesdays I let my daughter watch the video, and then we do the lesson together. But most of the time she's already done the activities because she helps me in the video, so she does the crafts for the video. I also just let her spend a lot of time playing. I do a lot of nature studies with my 4-year-old. We have this little book. Let me see if I can find it. I'm just gonna bring you with me to show you, because what I've done for her was create, well, for both of my kids, a nature corner. And I did it in my kitchen because we come out to the backyard and we do nature studies back here because we get a lot of birds and squirrels back there. And so it's a perfect place to study birds. There's a ton of different trees outside too. So there's a lot we can study just by being here, especially during this quarantine. So I set up this little nature area here, and we've been learning a lot about pollination and bees and caterpillars and butterflies. And so we just got our caterpillars in here. I'm gonna show you what it looks like from far. It's just a little nature stand, and we just have our activities here. These are cards with nature things, birds and bugs, all kinds of things inside. Binoculars, some art supplies for journaling, and then we have these journal books here, magnifying glasses and stuff like that. So this is the book I was going to show you. We've been doing nature, and this is a lot of science in here. So she has to earn patches for the different things that we learn. So also my daughter and I go on walks almost every day, and we go to a neighborhood near here that has more types of trees and lots of there's a long stretch of bushes, and you can see all kinds of bugs there. So we study leaves. We've learned about the veins in the leaves, and we've learned about the seeds, which are in here too. We've learned about deciduous and evergreen trees. We study birds like every day. She does need her bird badge. We've had a cardinal's nest here. We have been able to watch them build a nest, lay eggs, hatch the eggs, feed the birds, and even were blessed enough to be around when they were teaching their birds, the birds were leaving the nest, the baby birds, and they were teaching them to fly. So awesome. And then we're going to do these little crafts and things. We've talked about clouds. We haven't done insects yet. We've done mammals and squirrels. And so this is really cool. We've done a bunch of these things and some things we haven't done yet. We collect things, and so her science is basically nature. And then whatever topics that I cover in my science class, she does that as well. As far as writing goes for her, I don't focus too much on writing because she has her kindergarten writing book from the Good and Beautiful she'll start with. And in her math course, she's learning to write the numbers and trace them. She tries to write her name every day. So as she's interested, she's starting to do those things on her own. So this is how we're wrapping up the school year. We are just tightening all the loose ends, finishing up language arts and science, and continuing to practice handwriting and typing, but not worried about finishing them. Also with math, we're just going to continue. And then for my little one, we're just doing a lot of science and nature, hands-on stuff for her, and then doing the kindergarten math. So that's it. That's how we're wrapping up the school year. What are you guys doing? Are you going to homeschool year round? We are planning on continuing to do some things over the summer, but not the same curriculum. We're not going to move up in anything until August, I think. I don't really know for sure. I'm still playing around with ideas. I have a bunch of different things I want to do. So let me just figure it out, and then I'll make a video for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check the description below for the links of everything that I showed you, reviews and videos, and also links to the books that we use. And that's about it. So we'll see you in the next video.